Hey, we in here. What? Intro? I don't need no motherfucking intro. All right, welcome back to the House of Soul podcast, episode 4. Episode 4.
It is.
Episode 4.
Hey, 4.
We didn't made it to episode 4. Thank you guys for all the listeners we have.
And the support.
Yes, of course. I got good news, I guess, depending on the person you are. But the podcast, the audio of the podcast is now on Google Podcast and Apple Podcast, which are the two most, if not the most, popular podcast listening apps, period. And so we're on there now. I had to send them a request so they could review the podcast. They reviewed it, and we've been approved for both of them. So we're on there now. We're also on Spotify, of course, and YouTube for the people that like to watch us talk and converse at the same time. So that's the good news. So please check us out. The links will be in all the descriptions and everything, so you'll be able to follow us on anything or just search us up on Google or Apple Podcasts. So we're here in episode 4 again, talking about this week. I know the past couple weeks, the second part or certain aspects you haven't seen the movie, like when we talked about, turn my phone on silent. We talked about Beau is Afraid, and you hadn't seen it, and then we talked about, it was another movie we talked about that you didn't see. Oh, Evil Dead Rise, which we'll be watching that after we record here. So maybe she'll give a small tidbit of how she felt about it on episode 4 when we record that. Okay, so back again at it again. I'm glad once again. Thank you guys. Today we'll be talking about Renfield, which I'm late to, and The Haunting of Hill House episode 2. We're going by episodes per episode to kind of stretch it out, I guess, whatever we're doing. And so as you as my beautiful young guest, which one would you like to talk about first?
Renfield.
Yeah. Okay.
Since it's really up and it's right in front of you.
Yes. Well, I got both windows. See on my computer, I got both windows.
Okay.
Just I'm prepared for this. Okay. So we'll start with Renfield this week. This video is intended for all. I don't care. Okay. So Renfield, I'm gonna read the synopsis. One of these days, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna now that I've been doing this, I'm actually gonna invest in a tablet. I'm gonna get a tablet. Those are really useful. Like just to have and touch, it's really useful.
Oh, okay.
But I might give it to you. You have it, me, computer, give you a tablet so you can read synopsis and get you more involved. Anyways, so Renfield, Dracula's henchman and an inmate at the lunatic asylum for decades, longs for a life away from the Count, his various demands, and all the bloodshed that comes from them. Director's Chris McKay, and it stars Nicholas Hoult. I think that's how you say it. Hoult. I said, yeah, Nicholas Hoult and Nicolas Cage. We got two Nicholases. I didn't even know that. But, you know, that's who it's starring. They're the majority of the movie. Oh, also, Awkwafina's in it. Awkwafina, she's in it, playing Rebecca. And those are, like, the most notable, I can say, characters. So, no, Adrian Martinez is in this. I've seen him before. He was kind of a comic relief, but he was in the movie a lot. But I've seen him before.
Okay.
But let's start with how you felt about. Let's kick it off. Kick it off.
I was quite surprised, first and foremost.
With the movie.
Yes.
Okay.
Nicolas Cage, with the silliness of it all. I guess when I look at a vampire movie, the last vampire movie I remember looking at that was foolish and silly to me was the one when Eddie Murphy was a vampire in Brooklyn with Eddie Murphy.
That was the last vampire movie you seen?
That was silly. That was silly.
Twilight was silly, but go ahead.
No, it wasn't.
That was
no, it wasn't.
Difference of opinion. Anyways,
it was silly. Foolishness, silly to
I
me.
think it's Tales of the Hood. I think it's called. No, that's not. That's Snoop Dogg's Tales of the Hood.
Right. That's not even vampire.
Was it Blackula? That's what it was.
That
was a
Blackula
different
is
movie. No,
old.
that was a different movie.
Blackula was like the
Eddie
70s.
Murphy. I know Eddie Murphy did play the vampire. I don't.
Yeah,
Keep talking.
he was
Let
in
me- I'm gonna
Vampire
look
in Brooklyn.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, that was the last silly kind of vampire movie that I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And Nicolas Cage, I thought it was going to be a serious movie. I really did. I was looking forward to seeing it to see if he can pull off this range. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Vampire in Brooklyn.
A vampire,
1995.
the range of being a vampire, because Nicolas Cage played certain type of roles, and I said, okay, he could hang. Let me see how would he be a vampire, because I never seen him in that type of role.
Yes.
So when I looked at it, I said, oh, it's silliness.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like anybody can pull off silliness. I mean, not to say anybody, but a lot of people can do silly foolishness. That's just how I feel about it, because you say the lines that they want you to say, and it's supposed to be funny, and it's out of people's comfort. It's out of the person's comfort zone. So it was like, okay, whatever. Now, I wasn't surprised Awkwafina, because she played roles like that.
Okay.
Characters, a supporting funny guy, funny person
Mm-hmm.
in a role. So I wasn't surprised with her, but it was Nicolas Cage I was surprised
Nicolas
about.
Cage.
Nicolas Cage I was
Mhm.
surprised about.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Surprising. I'm assuming by what you're saying, surprising in a negative way.
yes. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
see, it's interesting because when we were watching it, we were kind of talking tidbits about it here and there. In my opinion, I think Nicolas Cage's performance went entirely over your head. That's how I feel. That's how I feel.
Over my head? Are
over
you
your head.
serious?
That's how I feel. I think you didn't understand.
The foolishness.
I think you didn't understand the Nicolas, because look, even remember when you were like you didn't like the silliness and the theatrics of it, but I'm like he's definitely trying to be like those very old Dracula movies from like the 1930s and 40s, where it was all over theatrics and
Yeah, but
just
they
bad
weren't
acting.
silly.
I mean, looking back on it, it's silly. It wasn't silly then.
No, dudes.
That's
That's a whole different time. You can't compare the new vampires to the back in the day, because back in my childhood there were such things as we discussed this before, censorship.
What does that got to do with this?
Because there was only a limited space to be a certain character.
Okay.
Because certain things you couldn't see on television.
Okay.
So you really can't, to me, these are my personal opinions, you really can't put those two together to say this one is like this was like this, because one is censored and one is uncensored.
What? Get the
All that blood and gore, we didn't grow up seeing
not
all that blood and
But
gore.
we're not talking about the
And they were
movie.
black and
I
whites
mean,
too.
we're talking about the movie. No, I'm talking about specifically Nicolas Cage's performance, because even like I say, even when the movie came on, it showed him in black and white. When it came on, when it first showed him, he was in black and white. That's like a callback to those old Dracula movies where it was all
Horribly
theatrics.
done, as far as I'm concerned.
See, it went over her
But that's
head,
just no, it didn't.
or she didn't
I just didn't like it.
because that's what I'm saying. Like,
I guess, see, I went to go see Nicolas Cage one way and got him a whole nother way.
because Nicolas Cage, because first of all, I think Nicolas Cage done that purposefully. He wasn't trying to be the new Dracula. He was going back to the old cheesy Dracula.
Oh,
I think
no,
that's what
I'm
he was
not
trying to
saying
do.
he was trying to be.
No, but that's
No,
what I'm
no,
saying.
Not with them teeth.
But that's
Oh,
what I'm saying.
hell.
No, I'm saying his performance, not the makeup.
I do, all of it encompasses to me. I look at, remember I told you I have to look at movies 3 times. The first time I look at it, it's just sheer entertainment.
So wait.
And I only seen
hold on.
Renfield at one time.
Okay, so Nicolas Cage, his callback, his acting to, in my opinion, I'm just asking a question.
Okay.
So
all right.
his callback
Okay.
to be like the old original Draculas in the original movies, that just was wasted upon you. Like you weren't.
Well, it was wasted on him because he didn't play it very well.
Oh, son, you crazy.
I think it should have been an older looking gentleman. Now Nicolas Cage is older, but an older looking gentleman. And for me, if he had jet black hair, like what's that guy? Gomez, the old school Gomez.
Oh.
That look, that dark, And I
Very
know this might be
gothic
wrong. That got the dark. It was
Gothic.
more, to me, it's more like Latin dark look.
Okay.
That Latin dark.
That Gomez had.
That Gomez
Well, I mean,
had
his
when he
name's
was
Gomez,
talking about
but,
Morticia and
Morticia.
yeah,
But he was
the that's the,
Hispanic,
was
I'm
that the
sure.
Munsters? Was that, no, that's not the Munsters.
That's,
That was
no, that's
Adam Family.
Addams Family.
The Adam Family guy. How
Yeah.
dark his hair was and that look he had. I would have preferred to take him serious. Not to say take him serious because I took him serious, but the look of it all, it would be somebody else.
Okay.
To me, Nicolas Cage didn't do the role well.
Justice to you.
Yeah, to me.
Okay. I see we're not gonna agree on Nicolas Cage here. We're not gonna agree.
That's okay.
I think
That's
he
okay.
done. Well, I'm gonna say we're gonna move on because we've been on this topic for a minute.
Oh,
I think his
whatever.
acting was great because I think what he was trying to do, he done. I think he wasn't trying to be a new age Dracula. I don't think he was trying to make Dracula like. I think he was purposely Nick Cajun, being crazy and cheesy, and I think that's what he was trying to do, and I think it translated well for the tone of the movie. The movie wasn't serious to begin with.
Yeah,
The
because if
movie
you're
was
gonna
not
call,
serious.
you said he tried to do a callback.
Yeah.
My thing, he didn't do a very good job of calling back. That was just my personal opinion.
All right, okay. All right.
Okay.
So now Nicholas Holt as
Which one was he?
Renfield.
His
He was al-
assistant.
Yeah, he was
And
also
Eat the Bug and
yeah, he was
Okay.
also in
you know who he remind me of?
he was in The Menu. Before I forget.
know,
He
I
was in
know.
The Menu. He's been
I
in a
know.
lot of other stuff. That's right. He's
He
getting-
remind me of that guy that used to. Did he used to trick people or punk people?
What?
He was married to Demi Moore.
I have no idea.
Oh my God, what's his name?
Well,
Ashton. Is that Ashton,
Ashton
Kutcher?
Kutcher? The punked guy?
Yeah. He remind me of a younger Ashton. He remind me of a younger
Talking
Ashton
about like
Kutcher.
look? Or
Yeah, the look.
Oh,
Yeah, his look.
I don't agree. I feel you.
Well, in Renfield, he reminded me of young Ashton Kutcher.
I guess I can see it's a loose.
That's just me, though.
Okay,
you
I
know.
feel you. Okay.
Okay.
So his performance in the movie, you know what it is? I'll say this. When it comes to Nicholas Holt, like the two memorable roles I remember him from. I know he was in so much more, I'm sure, but I remember him from The Menu and in Renfield. Renfield. I gotta start saying like that from now. Renfield. I roll my R's.
Okay, you don't want me to start rolling no R's, Deuce.
Don't you dare.
I'm just
this will
saying,
stop right
don't
here.
you do it.
Anyways, so
I forgot all about it.
So I'll say this. He play a weasel in these roles.
Yeah.
He a weasel.
A soft.
And the cold part is
Yeah.
he looked like he would be that way. So I'm finding this I'm finding this love for him in movies. Pause. I'm finding that. But it's always like he's playing these characters that I would never like in real life. I would never like his characters. Like he would, you weasel motherfucker. That's how I would feel like about his character in so many ways. But I love his performances, and it seems like he's getting in more and more higher budget movies. So I'm glad to see him getting more work because like I said, he hasn't disappointed me yet.
He's been in a lot of roles, and he fit the role he
He
plays.
fits the roles exactly. He
Yeah.
very much fits the role exactly. That's my point. He's exactly doing it. So
But I'm looking forward to him in action because I think this is just me.
This one.
Huh?
We had action in this one.
No, I mean he's an action figure. More.
Was he not in this movie?
This was silliness, dudes. I'm talking about seriousness. Like he could be an
Action.
army guy
You know what?
or a GI Joe agent.
You know what?
You know,
G.I.
something like-
Joe is not even okay.
But I'm
I
talking
get
about the
what you mean.
action of it all.
Military.
Military,
I'll
something
say this.
physically active, like,
I'll say this.
but not with the silliness of it. You know.
I'll say this. It's so interesting the different perspectives we have on movies because you said you wanted him in an action movie, and I'm like, this is an action movie. What are you talking about? It has great fight scenes.
See, but
and hold on, I didn't finish.
Didn't take it serious.
So, but you're talking about you wanted to see him in a different kind of action movie, and it's funny to me. All the action movies that her phone's ringing right now. She's going crazy.
No,
All the action movies that you watch are silly to me. They're silly because there's no way one dude is about to shoot 35 guys with one clip. There's no way in hell that's happening.
okay.
They never get shot for whatever reason. They never get hit. The timing is impeccable. They just can't get their ass whooped. They just forever beating everybody. So it's like the movies you watch to me are comedy. Those are comedy to me.
Okay.
So it's just interesting. But anyways, so basically, if we go through what the movie is kind of the beat for beat about the movie, or not really beat for beat, but to talk about it, it's just basically, it feels like a boss, a dickhead boss that is Dracula, and him serving Dracula and the treatment he gets and the things he does. Because what he really does is he brings bodies, or not bodies, but he brings people to Dracula so Dracula can feed.
But that was after he get burnt up too, remember? Dracula
He said it's a cycle. He said it was a cycle.
Okay.
So it seems like because he did say that. He said in the movie that he brings the people to Dracula. Dracula feeds, and then eventually goes bloodthirsty or blood crazy, and goes on a bender, and then he kind of kills too many people, and then it forces the church and different people who want to kill Dracula to fight him and capture him, and then he gets saved, and then he's burned or damaged. Then he goes into like this hibernation of healing. He comes back out. So it seems like he gets a little bloodthirsty, and the cycle continues, because that's how the movie started. The priest and it was two other guys, priests,
and that was even comical.
Yeah, well, the movie's a comedy.
Captured.
Well, the movie is a comedy.
Okay.
Yeah, but
it's hard for me to see that for Nicolas Cage. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, you don't see Nicolas Cage as funny?
As funny.
Well, I find him silly enough for comedy. That's what it is for me.
Not at all.
He's very silly.
Yes.
To me, I put him in the same realm as what's his name? Bruce Almighty, Jim Carrey. I find Jim Carrey and Nicolas Cage like the same type of humor. They're both crazy and zany. They can be that way.
Oh, not me.
That's how I look at them, the same way.
Not me at all. Yeah.
So, but yeah, basically Renfield, I guess he gets persuaded by Dracula to work for him and give his service, his soul and everything. And he's been doing that for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. And basically, when you become Dracula's servant, you get a small percentage of his powers, which Renfield has to consume the life force of a bug, spiders, roaches, any kind of bug. Crunchiness, and then it shows the.
And then he get this
super power, and he's
kicking everybody butt.
Yeah, that's why I said his action was dope. Blood everywhere. It was bloody as hell. Like that when the dude got stomped in half.
I know. I thought about that.
It was fake looking though.
Hanging over the balcony. You talking about that? Yeah,
it was
I
fake.
thought about that.
It was fake.
Yeah.
It was, the blood didn't look real, but it was like comedic purposes. It was very gory and very violent when you needed to be. But basically, Renfield basically finds a support group of people who are, I guess, victims of abuse through different people in their lives, and they're trying to come together. And he's not really talking. He's like, what it is, he's kind of like, I can't really talk because these people are dealing with bosses or a parent or a boyfriend or girlfriend. I'm dealing with Dracula. That's a whole different level of like abuse right there, because y'all can just walk away. I can't just really just walk away. So that was kind of the beats. And Awkwafina comes in, and she's a cop, and her plot is that there's a family, like it feels like a mafia-esque family.
It is mafia.
Yeah, mafia-esque.
It's running the whole city.
Crime.
Yeah.
And she's like the cop that wants to take down the entire family
because of her father.
Her father. Yeah, they had a hand in the death of her father.
Even though they don't say that, but
and her father was a cop.
It's implied.
Yes, but her father was.
And her sister is an FBI agent.
Yes, her father's a very respected cop too.
Yeah,
very
it's implied that they.
So she's got
killed her father.
Yeah, so she's got this chip on her shoulder. And basically, the crime family, basically, Renfield and Awkwafina's, what's her name in the movie? Rebecca. So Renfield and Rebecca. I'm keep wanting to say Awkwafina, but they come together.
Is that her real name?
That's what she's credited as in IMDb, Awkwafina. I doubt that's her real name, but I mean, that's what she want to be called. So whatever.
Okay. All right.
But so they get into basically. They're all kind of these separate, stories going on. But then a bar fight kind of happens, or a restaurant fight, where basically Renfield, he has to bring Dracula a body. Dracula's like, bring me I want, what do you say, innocent cheerleaders, children, a bus full of
he heals faster.
Yeah, he heals faster with more innocent blood.
Yeah.
And he's kind of putting the pressure on Renfield to bring me these bodies now. And Renfield really don't want to do it no more. He's feeling some kind of way.
He want to bring him drug dealers, gang members,
criminals,
people
who deserve.
He was bringing them kind of,
but Dracula or Nicolas Cage, he can taste the difference in blood of your innocence or not.
Yeah.
So he's like, you keep bringing me these crappy people, these scummy dirt people. This is not cutting it. Where's my children? Where's my cheerleaders? Where's the pure? Where's the priests? Where are these church going people? Bring them to me. Bring the innocent, the blood of the innocent. So he's got pressure on him now because he's kind of like, bro, I'll replace you in a second. So he needs to find this. Awkwafina is basically trying to stop this crime family who operates out of this restaurant. Or everyone basically culminates at this one place and some crazy fight scene happens. And that's when Rebecca gets in with Renfield and they kind of an unlikely match. And, basically Renfield does some crazy stuff eating that bug and he saves more people's lives. And
he's helping Awkwafina at this point.
Yes.
But he didn't mean to. I guess he was just wanting to take these bodies to help her. Take these bodies to Nicolas Cage.
He just wants his life. That's what he wanted. He wanted his life. He wanted to live his own life as not a servant.
Well,
and
he had a family in the beginning, and they've been gone.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, and it never really tells you. I mean, I assume they just died of old age or something, or whatever's going on.
They just let you know
because he lives longer. Because he had a family when he first met Dracula. It was way back in the day.
Yes.
Like long time ago. Like I couldn't tell you. I want to say 1700 something. Like this is years ago. Yeah. And basically
well, did they make the distinction? It wasn't the 1800s.
They might have. I don't remember. But no, I'm just thinking because
he had a photograph of his wife and his daughter.
I mean,
and he showed Awkwafina, I think.
I mean, I'm not a historian nor am I a big fan of like the OG Dracula. But I mean, when I think like Dracula, like when people bring up like the original Dracula, all I think is Transylvania Year 5, like that long ago. Like it's got to be ancient history. Like that's a long time ago. Knights was still fighting, which I don't know historically what years those were. I do not like that time period. I hate medieval time, so I don't care for when that was. But
that's my
I can't
I like that groove.
So they basically Renfield wants his life. And he wants to live his own life and have friends, maybe get a girl or something. And Awkwafina just wants to bring on his family, and the family's trying to get absolute power. And basically, by the end of the movie, Renfield and Rebecca come together as a squad, and then the gang, the mafia-style family, get together with Dracula.
And Dracula turns all her soldiers
into servants.
Yeah, because she's the top. She's the.
She's famous too.
She's
What's her
Don.
Name? She's
I like her. I like her.
Yeah,
I forgot her name, but I like her in a lot of movies. She played very good roles. She's a very good actress.
Yeah.
She always played a foreign person though,
an
Iranian, Egyptian. Yeah. What's she? An older lady now too.
Whoa! I can't even say her name.
What's her first name?
Shohore. Shahre. Agadoshi. I can't pronounce that. It's Shohreh.
I don't know her name.
Yeah. But she was also in John Wick. She was in John Wick too. Yeah, she was in the
which one?
The first one. Remember I think it was the second one or the third one. The one with Halle Berry. I think that was the third one, where he had to return home to find Halle Berry, and she was the gypsy lady that got her hands cut when she put her hands together and paid her penance. In the third one, they cut her hands. The
ballet lady.
Yeah, that was her.
That's not her.
Let me see.
That was not her.
No,
that was not her.
Then I'm tripping if that wasn't her. I could have sworn that was her. Maybe it wasn't. Okay, never mind. I've seen this lady before. I'm wrong. Looks like I'm wrong. I thought they look mad the same then. No racism, I'm sorry. But they look so similar. And anyways, and they She was in it, and she was playing what was we was talking about the old gypsy. She was playing like the family crime boss, and her son.
She was the top.
Son
she was the
prayed.
crime lady. She was the Dawn.
Yeah.
Or Dawness.
Yes.
What do they call the female?
I don't know.
That's in charge. Instead of a Don. The Don is the man.
I don't know. I don't think there's traditionally a female in that role traditionally.
Right.
So I don't know what you'd even call that.
Yeah, but she was the top, and her son was constantly messing up.
Weasel.
Oh my God.
Weasel.
Oh.
Weasel. I hated the son.
He was definitely. If it wasn't for his mama, he would be nobody.
Oh,
Everybody
yeah.
be slapping him around.
Oh yeah. He would not have made it in these streets without his mama.
I didn't like
Mama's boy.
Yeah.
He was only as high as he was up in the ranks because that was his
mama.
That's the
was
only
running
reason.
the crime family.
Exactly.
And the Dracula, Nicolas Cage character, turned them all into his henchmen. So they all eating bugs with all these superpowers.
Yeah, at the end.
That was
the final
funny
fight
at the
kinda,
end.
Yeah. Yeah, they
And
all
I'm
eating
like,
bugs
okay, now it all matches. When that guy sniffed up that caterpillar, not the caterpillar, but what was that, a centipede?
Centipede, yeah.
When he sniffed
Or
up
millipede, one of them.
in his nose, it was like, ooh, that was nasty
I was
to
like,
me.
wait, that's nasty as much. But they got those powers, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the final fight happens, and blah blah blah. I'm not gonna spoil that, but this was that's basically what happens in the movie. This is what's going on. So now the movie was really an action comedy. It really was. It was an action comedy. It was silly, like she said. It's not really meant to be taken seriously at all. It's got so many beats of like a very lighthearted comedy movie, but it's a lot of gore and violence in it. So I wouldn't say
Nicolas Cage's teeth looked toe up. It looked fake. It did look
all
fake.
his teeth were fangs, all of them.
Fangs, and it looked fake because it looked like her inside of his mouth was moving, but the whoever done the makeup to it on the outside didn't. It wasn't. It was, to me, it was poorly done.
I think the makeup looked really good.
No, the makeup was fine, but what I'm saying, remember his mouth? Remember I showed
the teeth.
You the teeth area?
You could
with
see
the
where
teeth
the
in the
mask
mouth
began.
Yeah, it's like that looked crazy to me.
Yeah.
Just like I know they had more money on the budget to make this look better. All these wonderful masks that I've seen that these makeup artists do.
Mm-hmm.
And Nicolas Cage is in a movie that I know it got a nice budget. They could have done a better job. Because right around his mouth area is where it's like, I lost it. It was like, no, y'all could have done better.
Yeah. So, on top of that, the movie doesn't overstay its welcome. It isn't a long movie. It's really kind of, it moves at a quick pace. But it's more of to me, it feels more of a popcorn flick, for sure. Turn it on. It's a fun film. Yeah, it's violence. It's not. It's kind of some crazy violence too, and people eating bugs and some. But okay, the fight scene, the fight choreography,
were good.
I
enjoyed
great.
those. Yeah, I enjoyed those.
Crazy.
Yeah.
They were good. The blood seemed pretty fake to me. I could tell the blood was fake. It just looked like people fighting, and then you see like the blood come out of him, and I'm like, that blood sticks out because it looks fake. It doesn't even look like real blood. It looked, it was like, I don't think there's that much blood in a human body, period, coming out of one dude's orifice. Like, I don't even think that's a thing. But the actual fight scenes were good. The action was on point. I think everybody done a good job. There was, I think Rebecca's partner, he was a waste. I don't know why he was even there. Like, I guess he was like the comic relief. But he was in the movie.
She was the comic relief, wasn't she?
Nah, she was more serious than anybody in this movie.
I know, but okay, I see what you mean, but it was like they had a couple of it was a comedy shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, everybody. But he seemed to be the comic relief in all the seriousness. But he wasn't in the movie. He wasn't. He was
in the movie. Was he the one that they punched him and it came out of this orifice and that orifice?
No, that was the son.
That happened to the son.
That happened to the son.
Okay.
No, it was kind of a heavier set dude.
Okay.
Yeah, but he was barely in the movie. Like, he would come in, what's going on? I'm late to the scene.
Mm-hmm.
And then he'd say a joke or a quick line or two, and then he's gone for 30 minutes. Yeah. Like, he's barely in the movie. I wish I'd have seen him more because I wish they would have gave him more screen time to see what he could do.
They probably paid Nicolas Cage so much he said, "Okay, I'll do it," and then everybody else was an afterthought.
That's what it seemed like. Yeah, that's what it seemed like. Yeah.
I mean, these actors get paid a lot of money. I really believe, but then you can't not get a good supporting actor because now you can't pay them what they probably want. I
Yeah.
mean, you like Nicolas Cage cannot carry a whole movie. I'm sorry. He can't.
Excuse me?
He cannot carry a whole
Oh,
movie.
I'm sorry, y'all. She tripping off that one. You tripping.
It's a no. Wait,
Nicolas
not
Cage
just
can carry a
stop,
whole
dude.
movie.
Not just Nicolas Cage, but I don't think any actor can carry a whole movie. You have to have some kind of supporting character.
Oh,
So-
okay.
so-
I get what you're saying. Okay, well,
That's why
well,
I hate
you can't
it.
really say that because
Now,
I
I'm
am
like-
legend. You
just
can't
like-
say that. I am legend.
The dog.
You give it. Stop.
But no.
Stop.
Okay, I digress.
Stop.
I digress. But what I'm saying, okay, like, what's that guy name that old dude, Otto? What's his name?
Old dude.
That played Otto in
Otto.
the movie that just came out. Otto, I Am Otto, or something like that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You
right
told
now.
me about the movie. You seen a movie? Tom Hanks.
Oh.
Tom Hanks.
Oh.
Right,
Okay.
Tom
yeah, Tom
Hanks.
Hanks.
That movie when the Castaway, when he was on the island with
I
the
never
ball,
seen Castaway.
and you don't need to see it. That's how I feel
heard
about
it was good. I've heard it was good.
this good or this good.
We're moving on. So, anyways,
Right.
Anyways,
Foolishness. He couldn't carry it to me.
okay.
It's like, no, you need help.
So, overall, the movie's a fun popcorn watch.
A Netflix and chill movie.
I give it more respect than that. I think it needs.
We did. I mean, you did, but I didn't
I give it more respect.
spend money to which.
No, I didn't. I couldn't go see it in theaters. I wanted to go see it in theaters, but I didn't get a chance. Scheduling issues. So I didn't get to see it in theaters. I had to wait. But thankfully, it came out very quickly.
Right.
So I was able to see it. I think we seen it a couple days
Now,
ago.
would you spend your money?
Yes,
to
I
go
would have.
see it?
Yes, I would have.
Oh, I would.
But you gotta think. I spend money to see everything now. I seen 80s for Brady, and I'm 30 years old. I see 80s for Brady. Like, it didn't matter. I see everything. If it's in theaters, and it's got even some kind of budget or anything, I'm going to go see it. I see everything.
Okay.
Or I tried to see everything.
Yeah.
So overall, let's get to, because we reached the halfway mark. We got to get into House on Haunted Hill. Oh, I'm so off. The Haunting of Hill House. What's your rating for the movie?
2,
Out of 5?
1.5.
Jesus Christ.
No, I give it a solid 2. I give it a 2.
So you
Out of
really didn't
5.
like it?
Yeah, no, it was
How would you recommend it?
no.
Okay. Renfield, I would give it a 3.5 because I feel like it's a good popcorn time waster. It's worth a watch. I think it's really worth a watch. Period. It isn't some
While you in the kitchen cooking, or
it is
you
not,
preoccupied
yeah.
doing something.
It isn't a super memorable Dracula film. It isn't this masterpiece of cinema in any way. It's not even the funniest I've ever seen a movie. But I do think I think it's a treat to see Nicolas Cage play Dracula. I think if you're a Nicolas Cage fan, you're gonna want to see this performance. Period.
You know what
If you
movie
are
was a
Nicolas-
treat with Nicolas Cage in it?
Please don't say National Treasure.
What's that? National Treasure.
That's a movie that people love to death.
No, it was a movie you hit me to. It was like he was on another world, another
Mandy?
planet.
Mandy.
When it was,
Mandy.
I don't know the name of
Where
it, but
he
it was
went on
all
a
dark.
It was a revenge story.
Yes.
Mandy. You liked Mandy?
I was surprised. You
I
know, dudes, when I seen it, it
never
was
would've thought
Nicolas.
you liked
When I
Mandy.
seen that was a Nicolas Cage, it was like, whoa, that was one of those. What? Nicolas Cage?
Yeah.
So I was pleasantly surprised with that one.
I do love Mandy.
I
That movie
enjoyed
was
it too.
weird as hell.
It was,
I
but it
love
was
that
my.
movie.
I think I got levels of weird, not like yours.
Okay.
But mine's is softer
Okay.
and at a lower level,
Yes.
and that was low enough for me.
Yes.
That lower level of weird,
Mhm.
and when you let me know that it was like another dimension or another planet or something like that,
yeah.
it was something like that you said,
Well,
and I'm like,
I didn't tell you. It's
oh.
at the end of the movie. It kind of tells you at the end of the movie.
So I was like, oh. Then it was like everything was all right.
yeah.
So I enjoyed that, and he was a different kind of Nicolas Cage. I enjoyed that movie, watching him in that movie. And
That's
it was
crazy,
called.
too.
You said it was called Mandy.
Yeah, it's called Mandy.
Yeah,
If you guys never seen Mandy, that's
worth the watch.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's
that
worth
is,
the watch.
and it's crazy to me because I like weird movies like that, but I didn't think she would like that
Yeah,
movie.
I don't like weird movies.
Yeah, well, maybe.
But that one was. I enjoyed that one though.
Yeah,
I did.
I enjoy Mandy too. That is a violent movie, but that is good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I would, like I said, I would give it a 3.5. I think it was worth a watch. I would recommend it to someone.
I'd give it a solid
I would recommend,
2.
and I would recommend it to anybody. It's not even like a certain demographic that I would say shouldn't or should see it or age. No, everyone can see it. This is cool. I mean, maybe not. If you don't want your kids seeing bodies getting cut in half, then don't bring your kids around. But I find the movie to be it's a very easy watch, a very simple watch. There's a chuckle here and there. The fight scenes is good, and once again, it doesn't overstay its welcome at all. So I think I would recommend you watch it just for fun, no other reason, just for fun. So I feel that way about it. So that's Renfield. Moving on. I need to get a sound effect for moving on this podcast. I don't know about that one, but we'll figure that out. But moving on to The Haunting of Hill House episode 2. We just recapped, just so we can get ready for the podcast and everything. We just recapped it. You want to describe this episode?
Well, it opened up. This particular episode was about what was her name? Shirley, the mortician.
Go ahead, I'll correct you.
Yeah, I think her name was Shirley, the mortician. They call it Cheryl.
Yes, it was Shirley Crane. Yeah, played by Elizabeth Reiser, whatever.
Yeah, it was about her, the mortician, and her experience. This small framework, I guess. She's that type that she knows the truth, but she's in denial. Because when the brother, and then she didn't even let everybody know that the brother showed up for the sister's wedding. She the one told the brother to go away. She never told anybody that she made him go away.
Give more context to that, please.
Okay. Shirley.
Yes.
It was about her when she found the kittens. They looked diseased as a child. Yeah, because it flashes back and forth. Which a lot of movies are doing this now. Why are they doing that? Flashing back and forth.
Because they want to be. I don't know. It's a artistic choice, or it's a story choice.
But it loses the place sometimes. It loses for me.
It gets confusing.
Yeah, for me.
Yes.
It loses its place.
A flashback can really ruin a movie. It can ruin our TV. It can ruin it. It doesn't here.
Yeah.
It doesn't ruin it here.
Especially when you don't even really know the characters.
True.
Like the grown-up character, they give us the grown-ups, and then they give us the kids, and it's like, who is who? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because as grown-ups, you really don't know how old somebody is as grown-ups.
I think the flashbacks are done very effectively, though. I think it's very effective.
Well,
because like you said, Shirley's the mortician, right?
Yeah, but it took me for 3 to 4 episodes to know who was who.
True.
As a kid.
Yeah, to remember the faces and everything. Yeah.
To say, okay, this is her now, but as a kid, this was her.
That's true.
Because she was always separate. Wasn't she the one that was separate from everybody? No, it was the girl with the gloves.
Got older.
Was the one with the gloves?
Yeah. The other sister.
Whatever. But it was to me, it was confusing. But anyway.
Yeah.
It was about her, and when she found these kittens, it made a point to say, it's 5 kittens and it's 5 of us. The little girl, Nell, the one that the sister that had died, in the first and she was going to. I don't think I could have done that. Embalm my own sister.
And it's weird.
She wanted to do it.
She wanted to embalm her own sister, and she really handled everything, the autopsy, all that. She handled.
No, she didn't do the autopsy.
No, well, she done her job on her sister.
As far as being a mortician.
Yeah, she
wanted to do her sister. Yeah,
because it really shows because it flashes back to show her as a kid, like her. Kind of, it's not really a fascination. It kind of shows how she got into this whole death business.
With those cats, you think?
I think that was the whole thing with the cats and the funeral and then seeing the bugs and everything. I think it was very much a precursor to show that she was able to accept death as a person more than any other person or than any of the family.
Or didn't really look at it like it really truly was, because she could separate. Some people can compartmentalize things.
Yes.
And she was definitely one of those.
Yes. Yeah, because like I said, like there's so many people on Earth, period, who just don't deal with death or very well. Yeah. But she seemed to
her brother.
Yeah, she seemed to can deal with it pretty well.
Well.
Yeah, so that's why she went into a mortician or went to that
funeral
field.
Services.
Yes, yes. But it was really about her. Yeah, you're right, and watching her, how she became who she is, and dealing with Nell's death. Because you're right, Nell, last episode committed suicide, and when it came down to it, she wanted, like you said, wanted to handle everything, and it kind of shows the different situation. Because you're right, the Nell got married, and the Nell episode hasn't come up yet, so when that episode comes up, we'll get there. But Nell was getting married.
I liked her character too.
Nell?
Yeah.
She
even when she was little, and even as an older
That's true.
adult.
I like Nell's character. And the kid.
How she keeps coming up.
Yeah.
In the storyline.
Yeah, and the actress, the little girl who played Nell, I've seen her before. I knew when I was watching the show, like if I seen her face, I know where I've seen her before, but I've seen her in other shows. She plays, I think she's been in other horror movies as a kid. I can't remember. Oh. Megan.
That was Megan?
Megan. The little girl who got the doll. Megan, that was her. Little girl Nell, same actress.
I got to
I'm on my ish right now. But anyways.
I got to look at the girl to see.
Yeah. So they were the same actress. So but I did enjoy Nell's character. But anyways, back to Shirley. Cheryl is basically, her husband is, everyone's trying to talk her sister as an adult. Her sister and her husband. I think it's her husband or her man. Yeah, it's her husband. Yeah.
It's her husband.
Yeah. I know what you're going to say. We're waiting for the episode. Okay. I know what you're going to say. But her husband and her sister are trying to talk her out of this. But she's like, it's my sister. Can't nobody do a better job than me. Yeah. Which I respect, but bitch, you crazy.
I would want somebody else to handle the autopsy.
Yeah, it's like you are
not the autopsy,
crazy.
but the embalming process of my sister,
And she's seeing things. Because when she's actually performing the embalming and doing all the makeup and trying to get the body dressed up and everything for the funeral, she sees her mother in the bed, the kind of metal bed you're dead on. I don't know what they call it, gurney, but it's not comfortable as a gurney in the hospital, Her mother was there, dead, but it's all in her head, and she's her dead mother. Like, it's jumping to kind of, okay, that's what's going on as she's an adult. Basically, Nell is getting married. It's flashing. Like I said, it's jumping times. So I'm sorry if it sounds confusing, you guys.
It jumps a lot.
Yeah, it jumps
a lot.
Yeah, it jumps between times all the time. And
that's why it took me so long to find out who was who.
Yeah, and it doesn't always give you a title card to let you know what year you're in. It doesn't. You have to just assume this is the past or in the present. So it can be confusing at times.
Yeah.
Like Nell was getting married, and her Nell's twin brother Luke, which is the addict, the recovering addict, he shows up, and Shirley is not letting him into the wedding. She's like, you're high right now. You get up out of here. No.
And it's his twin. Yeah, Nell is his twin.
Nell is his twin, yeah. And she's just like, you know what? No, I want to be here for Nell. She's like, no, you're high. You get up out of here. How much? You know what? Here. How much is the cat? $20, $30? Take this hot $100 real quick. Take this C note real quick. I ain't never give you no money again. Go. And then he goes. Which is interesting because then Shirley never tells Nell
that he showed up.
And I think Nell would have accepted him. I think Nell
she would have accepted him.
Nell would have accepted him how he was.
How he was. She'd have met him where he was. Absolutely.
So, yeah, exactly. So Shirley took that executive decision, which wasn't her place. But I feel her.
Yeah.
I feel her, but it wasn't her place.
But I'm going to tell you something. This is what I think.
Okay.
And I'm not saying this has happened because they didn't tell us that this has happened. Shirley is the one that's always paying for stuff. So the people who pay for stuff think they can have the say in it. So I'm thinking, since she probably said, well, I'm paying for this, so you can't come.
That is
it's my money,
because
you can't come.
Because it even shows her paying for
his recovery,
Luke's rehab,
yes,
which was expensive, and
Yeah.
she pays for it. And
Yeah.
then she was super pissed because, like I said,
Right.
she pays.
So
for
that's
it.
what I think about the wedding.
Yeah, she feels some kind of way because she's paying.
She
for all
probably,
of it.
she probably,
'Cause, yeah.
and they didn't say she did pay for it, but to me,
You think she would?
You
She's
think she was
acting like
because
it.
she told Luke he couldn't come, and Luke, he fell in line and like, okay, it was like I'd have pushed this. You can't tell me,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But you know that's the difference.
Because she did, because she does have in her house or wherever she does her job, she has her sister living there too, while also financially helping Steven, the older brother, with his writing.
That's why I
and
say
stuff.
she the one
And
with the money.
Luke, she the one
with
that's
the
got
power.
the money and the power. Yeah, so she feels
responsible. She's the
responsible.
bigger sister too.
Yeah.
And, you know, older siblings always feel kind of responsible for the younger ones.
Yeah.
So,
which is definitely what is happening. Yeah.
So that's probably why it occurred. And then they were twins too.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Well,
her and
Luke
Luke
and
and Nell were twins.
So Shirley's feels responsible for both of
And
them.
she never told them that he did show up.
Yeah,
to
she
her
never
wedding.
told him that Luke.
She
showed
never
up.
told him Luke
Yeah.
did. Even before she never told him.
Mm-hmm.
But Luke did show up, but he was high.
Yeah.
So I didn't let him in.
Exactly. Could have said that. Didn't even say that.
Didn't even say that.
didn't
That's
even
because
say
she
that.
knew she was wrong.
Exactly.
When you
Exactly.
wrong about shit, you don't mention it.
Exactly. So, other than that, it also when we flash back to Shirley as a kid, she basically finds this very. She's I guess venturing off into the what you call it, the estate and the surrounding areas and the immediate estate, the immediate areas. And she finds like a shed of some kind or a small building and finds like
It's
a
little
box
shed
of
with
cats.
Yeah,
little
looked like they
kittens.
kept paint and lawn
Yeah.
equipment
Yeah.
and all kind of stuff in this little shed.
Yeah.
In the
So
back.
so she finds this box of cats as a little girl. She finds this box of cats.
Look like she might have been what 12,
Yeah, maybe 12.
13.
Yeah, 13. Yeah, very young. Yeah, but she found this box of cats and they're meowing.
5 of
and,
them.
Yeah, 5 cats and the mother wasn't there. Found a wasp nest. Or bees or wasps. I think it was a wasp nest right on top of the cats in the shed. Like
Well, it was in the back towards because she took a picture of it and was freaked out because the wasp nest looked like a face.
Yeah, it had like a face on the wasp.
It was a face on the wasp.
Yeah, exactly.
Which it really was a mask that the wasp had used to make the nest around this mask.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why it looked like a face.
Exactly.
Because she screamed, ah!
Yeah, and then
Oh, I hate hearing scream all the time on movies. I really do.
And then the father comes in with the dude who works on the premises for years.
Yeah.
And they go in there. They find the wasp nest. They're gonna take it down and all that other good stuff. And she's asking to keep the cats.
Yeah.
First of all, how do you find a box of kittens in an old shed? Like, who just finds that on like? You gotta have money to find cats on your property.
And then nobody ever seen dogs or animals on the property at all.
That was the thing. The kids kept talking about.
They heard them.
They heard dogs
at night,
and that's why they should take the cats because they don't want the dogs to attack the cats.
Right.
But the dude who works
the caretaker,
of the estate, he's like, ain't no dogs on property. There's never been dogs here.
They said we hear them at night.
The kids said they hear them all the time, but he's like, they know. I don't know what y'all talking about. Ain't no dogs. So Shirley takes the cats in, and the cats all start dying one by one. Like.
Well, she go to feed them next day and realized that's only, I think it was one left alive or 2 left alive.
Yeah, she went to feed them and most of them were dead. Yeah,
because she brought that. Remember, she brought that milk in her room with the little tube.
Yeah,
And she go to feed them, and the little sister's like, they're not moving. I think it was just one left.
Yeah.
Or was it one passed away?
Oh man, I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember which.
I think it was one left. I think it was one left. I think.
Okay.
The rest
one
of
left
them died.
because she went to go feed them and it didn't work because they was all gone and there she go screamed again. It was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, death around her, death all over, and basically
death surrounded her all the time.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Or she, I mean, you know what? No, death surrounds everyone in some type of way. She chose to keep it around by making that profession and all kind of stuff. So when the cats died, or the last cat I think died, The last one, I think she opened its eyes and his eyes were all like white, like zombified. Very horrific looking. Baby cat's dead, cold blooded.
Yeah.
But the parents decided to give the cats a funeral, or the cat a funeral. And during the funeral, that's when, you know, they tell her you should speak some words or whatever. And I guess little Shirley's having a problem letting go, because then one of the cats like move, and she's like, "Oh my God, the cat's alive! It's not dead! It's not dead!" So she grabs the cat and picks up the cat, and the cat's kind of like ready to open its mouth, like it's going to say something or meow. Bug comes out the mouth.
What kind of bug was that? Was that a wasp?
Does it even matter?
I'm just saying because it was by the wasp nest. So
I don't think it was a wasp. I don't think it was a wasp. I think it was something like a beetle or a roach or something. I mean, it's a horror movie. It could have been a roach. Okay, it was some type of nasty bug that you'd freak out if it crawled on your fingers. Let's put it that way.
You would trip, and especially if it came out of a cat's mouth.
Exactly.
But you know, when you think about this, is she the only one that saw this, or did her parents see this?
It never really.
Because it lets me to assume that she's the only one seeing it.
Yeah, it does.
Because she kept talking about it's alive. It's like the parents are saying, "No, honey, it's
dead.
It's not alive." She said, "Look, it's moving." No, it's just moving to her, but it wasn't moving to her parents.
And then the bug crawls out. She freaks out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it cuts the scene.
Again.
And then it cuts the scene.
Yeah.
So that happens, and then the parents are kind of arguing about it because the wife is kind of like, now we have to explain death to our daughter and all this stuff just because you let her keep a box of diseased cats, which is what her words she used. And then the father's like, I didn't know what you wanted me to really do at that moment. Like, she was so attached. What do you want me to say? No, like, and they go back and forth. They trying to stay in sync because, at this point it seems like each kid is kind of going through something and they're trying their best, but it's just the typical, in my opinion, parental marriage argument. Typical, it didn't seem anything out of the ordinary, just blah, blah, blah.
But most parents wouldn't have let her keep them cats inside the house. It's like, yeah, okay, you can keep them, but they being out back.
Take them to a vet first. You would think to take them to a veterinarian first.
But they out in the country someplace. I don't know where they were, but it was like no city around because they never enter a city that
it's always in this house.
Yes, everything is in the house.
They're young.
Yeah, so I'm assuming they were in the country somewhere.
Yeah.
Far from other things, but I wouldn't have let her keep them in the house. It's like, okay, you seen 5 cats. It's like, because I don't like cats anyway, so that would have been an issue for me.
I'm not a fan of cats either.
Leave them in the shed, and if the mama come back, I'd have let her keep them in the shed.
Yeah.
Where they were, because they were safe there, really.
Yeah.
And if it is a cat around, the mother would come back and feed her. Because if the cat was still alive, the mother would go to that spot looking for her kittens.
Looking for her kid. That's true.
Why would you remove them from there?
That's true.
That's true. And then wake up in the morning. Come on, let's go feed them in the morning.
Yeah.
If there's somebody there or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it makes me think, were the cats even like really there?
Oh, they were there because the parents helped kill him. Help.
Jesus Christ.
Not kill him, but help bury him. That's what I meant. Remember the father dug the hole?
True.
So those cats were true. Because,
true.
or it was a common, all of
apparition they all seen.
Yeah, but I'm thinking the cats were there. It was just, she saw different things than the other people.
Yeah.
That's, my interpretation of it.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. And this episode is very much Shirley and death, like Shirley's love with death and all the things she has to do and the things she's seen, but hers is very centered around death. Like that's the theme.
In denial. She's in denial, even as an adult.
Everyone was in denial. Everyone's in denial.
No, not Luke. That's why he done drugs. Luke knew the truth.
He was using drugs so he could cope.
He did it for coping, but not denial.
Denying it was happening.
He was about coping. Steve was denial.
Yeah.
That's true.
Steve was denial.
Right after his sister's dead and he's standing right in front of him and he refused to believe what he just saw.
Yeah.
He's like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah. That's true.
Okay.
That's true. But that was kind of the theme of this episode is Shirley and death and her thing with death. That was kind of the theme with it. How do I feel about this episode overall? It's like I said, this show is one of those, it starts slow but pays off immensely later. I'll be honest, and I'm gonna be real, I don't care about Shirley's character. I don't. she's not that interesting of a character to me, in my
Okay.
opinion. I mean, I'm glad the show took the time out to describe her character, because I am 1,000% sure there's a person out there who loves that character. So because she actually is able to have a character arc that someone can even hold on to, I'm glad they were like that. I just don't identify with that character at all in any way, shape, or form. I wasn't a fan of this character. So not that it's a bad character. I don't have the fascination with death. I don't want to be a mortician. I don't. I'm not. I don't want to keep a box full of kittens. It's just not my thing. Now, of course, to watch the dynamic, because what was happening was that she was also having a little argument or a disagreement with her husband, because she was like, I don't know if she has a kind heart or whatever, but she's doing jobs and funerals for less, and the husband's having a problem because it's like, you're leaving like kind of so much money on the table. She's like, I only do it for certain causes and certain cases. He's like, well, your certain cases is over half of them last year, so that's not certain anymore. That's normal now. Like, no, we can't be doing it for everybody all the time. And she's like, she's trying to make it work. I guess she's trying to do the nice thing. I guess she understands. I guess if I had to interpret it the best way I could, I'm thinking she understands what it feels like to go through loss. So she's trying to cut people some slack when they go through a loss or something.
And she's sympathizing with
yeah,
because they didn't have no money when their parents died.
Exactly.
Because they had put all that money into that house.
Exactly.
So it was just to bury their mom. It was a struggle.
Exactly. So that was kind of her character arc. She was very, I don't know.
And her character to me served its purpose, because I'm not to say she wasn't my favorite character, but I liked that they showed us who she was as a child and then jumped into the adult life. I did enjoy that part.
Yes.
When they flash back, and if they gonna pick a singular person each time, I'm all for it. And that's what, like I said, by the third episode, I knew who everybody was.
Yes.
With the jump back and forth. But the first episode, I had no clue on who was who.
As a kid,
by the third, I did.
As a kid, she asked a whole lot of questions, because it was also that scene with the mother.
She was playing the mother role. I mean, as a kid, she was the big sister who had to take care of a lot of stuff.
And it kind of seemed like she was, and that's a great, oh man, I can't think of the word, but I'm saying that's really good that you pointed that out, because I didn't really think about it till you said it, because now I've connected that, because it does show as a flashback that she was kind of closer with her mom.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that. Yeah, but she definitely was, because that scene where her mom's drawing up the blueprints for their dream house, and she's asking a million questions, and she's describing.
Even when they was in the bed, and Mama got the migraine. It
exactly.
Was like, oh my God.
Yes.
Here we go.
It seemed like she was more like, she was very much like her mother in a way, but or not like her mother, but very close, or studied her mom. I guess is the for lack of a better word, what she was doing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the overall, the show, this episode wasn't my favorite, because once again, I find no connection to the character. It had some interesting dead, decaying parts, because I think because of her fascination with death and her field of work with it, this episode, I think, in my opinion, so far at least, and if I remember correctly, has the most, like, what's the word, decaying looking bodies. It shows a lot of death in it, or more than previous episodes.
But that's what surrounds Shirley, though.
Exactly, and I think that was purposely done.
Yeah, right.
Yes, that was purposely done.
And I enjoyed them getting to know her.
Yes, of course.
As a kid and then as an adult. It's
yes.
Like, she's the tight. She's She's wine tight, and she's keeping everybody She keep everybody together.
Yeah.
She's keeping everybody together.
Yeah.
Because remember when she called her brother and said, "I told you to go get her.
I told
to
you something wrong with her. I told you something was wrong. I told you that, and you didn't. So he just hung up. Like, I gotta go.
That was Steve.
Yeah, exactly. Because she did tell him. She did tell him.
So that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah,
she's the one that kept everything together.
Exactly. So how'd you feel about the episode overall?
I enjoyed it. I didn't think I was gonna like the whole series, but The slow burn of it,
Mm-hmm.
I can deal with the slow burn on this one. But if it was a movie like this, I wouldn't have
It would
liked
be
it.
10 hours long. What you talking about?
Right,
It would be way too
right,
damn long.
Right.
Wouldn't
But
even
I
be a
enjoyed it, and I would recommend somebody to watch it.
movie. Episode
It's
two.
a small little. If you really don't like horror movies, it's a small way to dip your toe in.
Okay. Because even though it's a horror series, it's really not like the
Yeah.
show is not trying to scare you.
No,
It's really not.
and I want to thank them for that.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
trying to. It shows
Ain't
horrific
no jump scares. It's
shows a
just the
couple.
music.
It shows a
It's just
couple.
the music that gets you.
atmosphere.
Yeah, the atmosphere.
It's atmosphere
music.
intensive
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, because
Right,
it has
right.
its jump scares. It has its gore. It has its little.
I didn't see no jump.
Well, throughout the whole series, it shows different jump scares, just like the
When?
first episode, where Steven looked over and his sister was already dead, and she was in the apartment with him,
she didn't jump. The only
That
time
was a
when
jump
he
scare.
turned around.
and she was there. That was a jump scare.
But see, I was prepared for that because she kept moving closer.
Okay,
So it wasn't a jump scare. It wasn't all at once.
I'm saying the show has jump scares. It
Okay.
does. It has
All right.
horror elements. It's just not making that the focus of the show at all. It's
Okay.
not the focus. It's actually telling a story, a very deep story.
Yeah, it is.
It's actually
Yeah.
telling a story.
In
So,
bits and pieces.
In bits
I
and
might
pieces.
add. Oh, that was so frustrating.
what? To
Until it all came together.
This show
was
is
frustrating.
this show definitely gives you bits and pieces of the puzzle, and you don't it doesn't all come together to the last 2 episodes.
Yeah.
So it's a huge time investment with it. So that's been our conversation. We're coming up on the hour timer. We get to the closing statements and the winding down of episode 4. Once again, this has really been, you know what, anyone listening to this right now, I want to personally thank you for listening or watching our podcast, because this has been an interesting journey for me to do this and to really get involved. I'm glad to have my mother here for these episodes. I'm trying to get different guests here and there, but scheduling with different people it's turning out to be a little more complicated than I thought. Challenging, yeah. It's gonna be more challenging than I thought it was to get different people to shoot with me. But I mean, we'll get that going. We can get that going. But for now, I got no issues with how it's going. So I just want to thank everybody for, tuning in and listening to the podcast where we talk about movies. We also take movie and TV suggestions on all my social medias. So feel free to reach out on any social media. Just let me know if there's a recommendation. What's the reason? Blah, blah, blah. We take those too. Other than that, next week we'll be talking about, I know for sure we'll be talking about episode 3 of The Haunting of Hill House.
Okay.
I don't necessarily know what movie or other TV series we'll be talking about with that. I don't know yet. I think we'll come to that conclusion during the week, and we'll figure out what we're talking about next week.
All right.
But yeah. So anything you'd like to add or say, or anything you'd like to throw out there before we close this podcast out?
No.
Nothing.
About to say Happy Mother's Day to me.
Happy. It is today's Mother's Day, huh? Happy Mother's Day to my mother. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, of course, doing the damn thing. Being the greatest mother you can be. Thank you, mother, myself. Thank you personally from me for being the greatest mother I ever knew.
The only mother you knew.
I know many mothers. I just had one of them raise me, but I know many mothers.
The only one you know.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all I want to say. I don't want to say
happy Mother's Day. Really, no. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all you guys out there. Really, no. Happy Mother's Day to all you guys. May you guys have a great Mother's Day and everything.
All right.
And remember the good day. Remember the day for if you a man, listen. You holler at your mom or your wife. Holler at them. Let them know. You kid, holler at your mama. Just let them know. Other than that, we're gonna get up out of here and call it a day. And once again, appreciate you guys being here for this episode. And we'll see you guys next week. Deuces.